Travis Wayne Goodsell. This morning, I found a woman who's doing YouTube videos and been doing them for a while. I noticed that in the beginning she was doing singing. She was doing cover songs, and that lasted for about 5 videos. And then she started talking about the different ways in which she was making money. $10,000 in 3 months for some streaming service, for example. That's okay. And then she was doing try-ons, and had been doing them ever since. And the way YouTube is set up, yeah, I can see that she was trying to become popular to generate money through YouTube. And so I've noticed a number of channels who will do try-on videos of certain clothing companies who will give them clothing to try on so that they can advertise for the company. And so I noticed the change. And yesterday she did another clothing try-on, which included a pearl thong. 15,000 views already in 15 hours. And she's not shaved. Now, I would never shame a woman. That is Lucifer's plan of happiness. Mormons have an exclusive doctrinal understanding on nudity and sexuality. We believe, according to Brigham Young's temple text, that nudity and sexuality are of God. If there is anything beautiful, lovely, of good report, or praiseworthy, we seek after these things. Women are beautiful. End of discussion. Lucifer is the one who came to Adam and Eve and exposed that they were naked. He told them to cover up. That is Lucifer's plan of happiness. That is exclusive Mormon doctrine. So anybody who seeks to shame women for their bodies is following a very evil principle. So if anybody, hint, hint, condemns pornography, they are anti-Mormon, because Mormon doctrine, as given by Brigham Young in the temple text, is of God. But what makes this funnier is that on the home page of this young woman's video channel, she says she does a video a day, except on Sundays. So cute. If only YouTube would not follow Lucifer's plan of happiness and allow more videos like this. But yeah, it's fun getting to know other people around the world. But it's also sad, because I've noticed a lot of women who are no longer doing videos. And with what's been happening the last couple of years, it concerns me. You'll notice that at least as of this morning, I had 888 viewers or subscribers. And yet you'll see that the number of views that I get on a regular average basis is between 50 and 100, if I'm lucky. Most of that is due to some stuff that the church has made in the news, which helps boost my ratings. But yeah, the majority of my viewers, subscribers, are dead as of 2020. They did not hearken to my counsel, as I was setting the example for everybody on my channel during all these years. Not just demanding that everybody will hearken to what I preach, but not practice what I preach. I practiced what I preached. And YouTube attacked me for it in violation of... And so yeah, I was reminded this morning also of the attacks by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. These are all facts that have happened. The events that the church had done and forced the state of Utah to do for these last several years are directly tied to me. And now, this year, the church is wrapping everything up. Everything's finishing up for the church. And if you're just a casual Mormon, if you're just a fence sitter in Mormonism, I think only the older generation knows what I'm talking about. Because the younger generation, they don't understand me. They don't watch. That's what the YouTube analytics is showing me, is that the majority of people are older than I am who watch my channel. And those who watch don't really watch that long. But clearly the younger generation is a completely new, different Mormonism than the older generation, because we know what the church used to do. The younger generation don't know. I'm right there at the age limit of the change in the temple text of 1991, because I went on my mission in 1989, and so I went through the temple with the penalty, with the preacher, and with the other fun stuff, intercourse. That used to be the law of chastity. It specifically said no intercourse. And some other fun stuff. Women obeyed their husband. The actual word obey, not just hearken to the counsel, it was obey. And so the younger generation apparently don't know any of that and don't believe it, therefore, because it's not being done now. It's like the church allowing blacks the priesthood. The younger generation believe blacks have always had the priesthood. The church isn't racist. We allow blacks to pay tithing and go to the temple. But then you get the menaces to society, or steaming meanies, or whatever they call themselves on TikTok, who had gone to BYU and did a whole bunch of videos exposing Mormons' racism and other stupidities that they don't know their religion. And so that's another part of it, is that it's not just that it's a different religion than what the older generations know of Mormonism. The younger generation don't know Mormonism at all. It's just a culture group, a religious group to click friends and shun others. But the church has done a lot of things to finish up for this year. And it's sad that Mormons don't seem to recognize what this means. Nelson came out on the 7th to reiterate his "in the coming days" that he gave when he first took office in 2018 of April, and then repeated again in October 2022. And said that Mormons should have hope that he's coming. And he doesn't give a date. He knows the date. I did the videos. I showed you he knows the date. And if you follow all my videos, you will know the church history behind why he knows the date. But this is the bicentennial year of the second vision. From Joseph Smith History, verse 37, he adds, "For they that shall come shall burn them." Who's them? It's Joseph Smith. He's the leader of the Church of Latter-day Saints. No, the Church of Latter-day Saints. You're not watching my videos. You are not paying attention to the church. He's talking to Mormons. His other church history things that you've probably heard about, those were to specific individuals. There was a Jew that he talked to about it. There was another person that he talked to about it. This one, in 1838, was for Mormons. It was published in the Times and Seasons. And that's why we know it was the Church of Latter-day Saints. And he's adding to Malachi, the second vision, the bicentennial year, and he adds to the day that shall burn as an oven. And they that come shall burn Mormons. And then he goes on and adds, also in Malachi, in verse 39, "If it were not so, the whole earth would be utterly wasted at his coming." So that's the coming of the Christ. But if certain things are not done by Mormons, the earth is going to be utterly wasted, and they're going to be burned. Do you understand what your tithing was used for? I know the older generations know that it's called fire insurance, because of the day that shall burn as an oven. We pay our tithing, assuming the church will protect us, for the day that shall burn as an oven. And this is the bicentennial year of the day that shall burn as an oven, and the church is wrapping things up. You not catching on? They're not telling you. They're not warning you. I am. That should tell you something. And we're not done yet. In verse 40, He quoted also the 3rd chapter of Acts, 22nd, 23rd verses, precisely as they stand in our New Testament. Did you ever bother to reference it? Did you go to it and read it? Precisely as it stands? So where's the word cut off? Give you a hint. I just did the video series. It's in Micah. He said that that prophet was Christ. Here we go. So the bicentennial year, about the second vision, is about the coming of Christ, which just happens to be exactly the same as Lehi's second vision. Same exact pattern. Lehi's second vision refers to Revelation chapter 12. Oh, that's a sign in the heavens. That means that's a precise star date. We know the date of his coming. Joseph Smith knows of the date of his coming. So does the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but they didn't tell you. So did you bother to go to Acts? Who's our Christ? For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Man like Moses. So it's Jesus, right? That's what you believe. That's what the church tells you to believe. That's what they reference. They will not reference certain other scriptures. Oh, look. There's destroyed. In verse 23. That's not cut off. And so, here you have verse 26. Unto you first God having raised up his son Jesus. It's Jesus, obviously. This isn't the learning of the Jews. It's Christian. It's not Emmanuel. Matthew set that straight. He says that Isaiah is wrong. Isaiah says his name's supposed to be Emmanuel, and so he says, we're calling him Jesus. Screw Isaiah. A man like Moses. And so what did Moses do? So that Jesus, because this is what you believe, is going to do exactly what Moses did. The Exodus is supposed to be the latter days. And so what happened? Well, there's visions that occur to start his ministry. And then he goes down to Egypt, to Pharaoh's court, suing for the release of the house of Israel. And so Jesus would need to go to court. So there'd be court documents. If the Exodus is the latter days, and it's Jesus, who's the man like Moses, you're looking for Jesus to go through the court system. Which country? Is it Jerusalem? Is it Egypt? Is that how prophecy works? It's literal history? Or maybe you're saying, well, Jesus already had the Exodus. He already went to court. He was the one on trial. No, that's not what it says. Moses was not being put on trial. Moses was suing on behalf of the house of Israel. And Pharaoh is a theocracy, a combination of religion and government. And here Jesus is supposed to sue to free a religious people from both a corrupt government and a corrupt religion. Well, the Book of Mormon tells us it's the great and abominable church. So apparently we have a lot of time left before Jesus comes, don't we? We'll just sit around and wait for Jesus to come. Because that would make big news, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ comes from outer space on a flying horse. I mean, well, Mormons don't believe he has a horse. And then goes to the court system. Immediately, free my people. Let them go. You see where the problems lie? When you use Christian interpretation rather than the learning of the Jews who are prophesying of the latter days. Because then there's some other stuff. He parts the waters. The waters of the river dry up so that the religion could pass through on dry ground. And since it's Joseph Smith, it's Mormons. That Jesus is going to come and free from the great and abominable church. Mormons need to be freed from the great and abominable church and from an oppressive government. That's the prophecy. And the waters are going to be parted so that Mormons can pass through on dry ground to get to Zion. Mormons are already in Zion. Are we? Are you wanting to deny Joseph Smith and deny the prophecies of the latter days? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints put out for the Sunday school lessons this year that we're now into Acts. You're going to go to church, aren't you? And you're going to learn about Acts. I bet you they cover up chapter 15. Peter's not in charge. But they did a little segment on the church news about how prophets have spoken referencing Acts through Revelation, except for the certain parts of Revelation that they don't want you to know. You know, like the star date of the latter days. Revelation 19 is the other one, his flying horse. And everybody, according to verse 24 in Acts, from Samuel and everybody afterwards, have foretold of the latter days. And so you're looking for other prophecies as well. The 3 days of darkness. So obviously it can't be the solar eclipses because Jesus hasn't come and sued in the court yet. And the eclipses over America that form the letter Aleph and Tau, which is mark in Hebrew, a mark, a sign in Hebrew. Yep, certainly that can't be true. That would be the learning of the Jews. That would mean that they purposely designed their alphabet shapes of each of the letters to correspond with symbolic meaning of the latter days. It means that the Hebrew language is prophetic. that can't be. Prophets or translators, aren't they? President Nelson, isn't he a translator? Have you listened? We just had conference. Did you listen to the sustaining votes? There's supposed to be that very prophet, seer, revelator, translator, not just president of the church. You aware that comes from section 107, verses 91 and 92? And again, the duty of the president to the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to be like unto Moses. Oops, wait a minute. That's not Jesus. Behold, here is wisdom. To be a seer, a revelator, a translator, and a prophet, having all the gifts of God, which he bestows upon the head of the church. Moses was the true head of the church, but the head of the church was Pharaoh, a false Christ, false king, false anointed, false Messiah. Yes, we could do Leper Messiah from Metallica in the description below. But I got another song planned. So, interestingly, there's a footnote to 91b for Moses. And it's in section 103, verse 16. Therefore, I will raise up unto my people, Mormons, a man. A Mormon shall be born and raised, who shall lead them like as Moses. There he is, our Christ, whom Joseph Smith talked about in the Joseph Smith history, verse 40. It's not Jesus. All he had to do was follow the footnotes and then know of section 107, verse 91 and 92. So the church purposely did not put the connection in the footnotes for you. They want you to believe that the man like Moses in section 103 is the president of the church of the latter days. But when it comes to Joseph Smith history, they disassociate the man like Moses with Jesus. They won't make the two connections. And so, yeah, you're looking for an actual Mormon who knows Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian, who is demonstrating the gifts of being a seer, a revelator, and a prophet, who's trying to save Mormons from the great and abominable church and the corrupt government, to take them to Zion. And the great and abominable church has Lucifer's plan of happiness to keep Mormons in bondage, which means you can identify them as their anti-porn. But apparently the followers are okay with pearl thongs. She's not shaved, but she doesn't do videos on Sunday. That's the Lord's day. cute.